Gemma, hello. Hey, Stephanie is here with the hand wave. Thank you. Worm Mama Bear, hey, Pam. Stitch Mama, Jade, good to see you. Thanks for joining me on live. Miss MacGyver, good afternoon, right back to you. I imagine we're going to have some warning issues from TikTok Live Studio today for an unstable connection, because that's the kind of day we're having. Justice, good to see you. Roz from Glasgow, good to see you there. User 07827908004. Hey, Genevieve, Renee. Pups here, good to see you. Kelly, good to see you. Gabriel, Lauren, Sunshine, Cindy, Nikki. Ida, good to see you. Dalton, Rachel, Silver, good to see you. Besley with the lightning bolts, thank you so much. Justice with the Rosa, thank you. Look at everybody popping up here. Chuck's got his asconauts going. Heck yeah. So good to see you all. We're going to get started with the official intro here. You ready? We're going to do it. We're going to get started with the official intro. Unstable connection. Hopefully referring to the internet, not referring to, my mental state. Hey, it is Vita's birthday today. Everybody give Vita a happy birthday. She's hoping for no fruity cakes. Yeah. I hope that for you as well. Hope you have a great birthday. And I have a feeling today's stories will involve cake. Call it a feeling. Call it a feeling. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you jumping on, especially with this new time. 3 p.m. start time worked out really well last week, so we thought, you know what, let's try it again. And if this one goes well, we may just permanently move it to a 3 p.m. start time. Save the cake. Jeannie, yes, I do live. Heck yeah. Protect the cake, Mary. Abso-freaking-lutely. Protect the cake. Justice, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Nikki, thank you for the balloons. Look at all the astronauts showing up here. You guys are awesome. Nikki, thank you for the 67 lightning bolts. Holy cow. Manuela, thank you for the hand wave. Appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, Mary, thank you for the cake. Alexandria says a birthday cake here. We got more cake from Nikki. And Tina with the weights. Thank you. I need the weights to balance out the cake. That's how it goes. We have some great stories lined up for you today, courtesy of Tony Spark. Remember that whenever it's time for Tony and Spark. Look, I already screwed it up, man. Thunder and Spark, which will be a new podcast series featuring Candy Thunder and Tony Spark. It's going to happen soon. We don't know exactly when. We just know it's going to happen. So be on the lookout for that. And make sure you throw a lot of love Tony Spark's way for coming up with these awesome stories for us today. Also, stickers are here. They have arrived. Heck yeah. And they are beautiful. We have the sticker sheet and also 2 different sticker sets that include some loose stickers like these dudes here. And those are all on dusty-thunder.com. If you already submitted a pre-order for the stickers those are going to ship out soon. So if you don't have them, if you haven't bought them yet, go get you some. Also, the Protect the Cake shirts and tanks are available at dustythunderswag.com. Let me see if I can actually show that to you real quick. Let's do this. Check it. We've got Protect the Cake. There was a tank top specifically requested from a YouTube viewer, so we've got those added, and we've got... Mine's not here yet. It should be here. Otherwise, I would be wearing it today. Abso-freaking-lutely. But Protect the Cake shirts are available and have been wildly popular so far. So Tatiana, thank you for the little crown. Appreciate that. Nikki for the hat and mustache. Tina for the chili. Faye for the rose. Thank you so much. Tatiana for the finger heart. You guys are cray-cray. Cray-cray. I said it. I said slay in a text conversation with my wife, Candy Thunder, yesterday. And I said I was channeling Ava Wee, one of our girls. Wow. Hey, TikTok Live Studio has an update, and it's actually filtering some things out for the gifts that I can keep them in a separate little panel. Thank you, guys. That is super, super helpful. Pam, thank you for the lightning bolts. Tom, thank you so much for the superpower. Pam for lightning bolts again. Chris G for the fire. Tina with the mic. Christina with the rose. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Anyway, Protect the Cake shirts. Yes, they're available now. And the Candy Thunder podcast, her second round in the podcast, part 1 of it, at least, publishes this Sunday. It's done. It is done. It's edited. We've got to pull out some promos from it that we can post tomorrow, but it's going to go out on Sunday. You should be excited for that. Other than that, that's not a lot of updates for you today. That's all I got. So then we're gonna dive right into some stories here. If you guys are ready, are you ready? Are you ready for some asshole stories? I think they are. There's Candy. Candy says, waiting patiently. Waiting patiently for the hoodie with your face on it. It'll happen. Mercedes, subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm for the very first time. Thank you so much. If you aren't a member of the Storm or you're interested in it, I think you can hit the little star icon at the top middle or bottom left of your screen to get some information about what's included with that. One of the things is an invitation into the Facebook VIP group where we converse frequently about new things that are coming up, even bounce ideas off, and even use that group as a sounding board to make some decisions too. Chris G, subscribing for month 2 with the resub. Thank you so much. Kay Dwyer's back on live. Hey-o, good to see you here. Faye, thank you so much for the big love and the mic. Appreciate that. Roz is ready. Heck yes. All right, we're going to go ahead and dive into a story here. Let's do it. As a reminder, I don't read these ahead of time. We're all experiencing this for the first time together. However, I did get a tip that something was included in this first one. And we're going to start it off by giving the people what they want. This one is from the AITA subreddit and is titled, "Am I the astronaut for being upset at my family for eating my birthday cake?"
Man, you guys know how I feel about cake, and to start off our journey like this, I just have to try. I have to try
not to go crazy. Try not to go crazy. It had to be cake. It had to be cake. And thank you so much for subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Okay, here we go. Okay, I know this is pretty trivial, but I'm annoyed, so ellipses. I, female 18, just had my birthday this weekend, and my family bought a small-ish birthday cake to celebrate, as I'm on a pretty strict diet and can only afford to have a certain number of cheat days. The diet is for a minor health condition that I'm close to rectifying, and it's self-imposed diet, so nothing super important. I'm just stricter with myself at the moment because of how close I am to getting rid of the issue. As there are 5 people in my family, male 50, female 49, male 15, female 9, and myself, 50% of the cake was eaten on my actual birthday, and the rest was to be saved for the couple of days later when I allow myself a cheat again. However, earlier this afternoon, I walked through the kitchen and noticed that there was only a small slice of cake left in the box. Dun, dun, dun! And so I find my parents and ask them what happened to the last 45% of the cake. I wonder if that's how she marched in, too. Using the percentage, like, hey, guys, what happened to the 45% of the cake that was there yesterday? If she used the percentage in that encounter, it's even better. My father admitted to cutting both him and my sister a slice each after lunch, and that the rest of it must have been eaten by my brother. I was getting a little frustrated by it now, and it must have shown in my voice, as my mom said it was obvious that I was upset, but that it was just cake, and that my brother was a teenage boy. She didn't seem like she would even talk to him about it. As for my dad, he made some excuse that the slices he cut hadn't been big, but he didn't apologize. I was properly annoyed now and said, okay, but it was my cake. And it definitely came out sounding angry because my mom told me to stop being aggressive, and I was being selfish. I mean, I understand getting aggressive when it comes to cake. Let's just say that I understand. I do think I overreacted a little. I was more annoyed that no one had asked me before taking the cake. I would have allowed everyone to have some. I'm I'm not mean. I am back on my diet again, which makes me cranky sometimes, so that might be why I'm annoyed at this. Also, my family only ever has cake on birthdays, so it's a pretty big thing in this house. And after all, it was my 18th. If it had been any other birthday, I'd have handled it much better and shrugged it off, but I guess it was more important to me this time. Anyways, I left the room before the conversation escalated into an argument and decided to break my diet and eat the last little bit of cake. By the way, the cake wasn't the only thing that was done for my birthday. We had a pub lunch with some extended family members, which was lovely. I think I'm just being kind of petty about the cake business, to be honest. But anyways, I'll hand this post over for judgment. All right, what say you, chat? Hey, okay, wow. Chris G's going. She's going straight to the filling of the cake here and jumping the family up to ascon 1 for eating the cake. Sarah, thank you for the enjoy music and the rose. And Nikki, thank you so much for the cake. Appreciate that. Hannah for the rose, Sarah for the enjoy music, Nikki, Shaz, I think I got those. Shaz, lightning bolt, Summer for the cake. Thank you so much. Lynette just purchased a 1-month subscription for the storm. Thank you. Welcome. Peekaboo, thank you for the lightning bolts. Amy, thank you so much for the rose. And welcome to the storm. It's good to have you guys here. And Stephanie with the superpower. Thank you so much. Okay, so Nursey, Deer, and Caroline are jumping in on ascon 1 here too. ascon 1. Okay, you know what? Let's pull up the scale. Here's the scale. As a reminder, ascon 4 is the least amount of asshole. ascon 1 is the most amount of asshole. And I know least and most and amounts of asshole doesn't really make sense, but it does make sense with the scale here. So ascon 4 is you could have done that differently. And we're talking about OP specifically right here. And the question is, am I the asshole for being upset at my family for eating my birthday cake? ascon 3 is you should have handled it differently. ascon 2 is you definitely shouldn't have done that. And ascon 1 is you're a terrible human being. So, for OP here specifically, is she justified in being upset at her family for eating her birthday cake? If this happened in your house, what would you do? We've got ascon 4, ascon 3. Are we talking about OP? Yeah, Nursey Deer, I get yours. Yours is for the family. Nikki's for the family. All the ascon 1s that I'm seeing, I'm assuming are for the family. What about OP? They knew she only had a certain day to have a cheat day. That was wrong of them to eat it. Maureen says, throwing hands don't touch my cake, Frankie J's mama. Chris G says, it's her cake. The family members are terrible human beings for eating her cake. Summer, I'd be upset. My people know better. OP's a 4. Okay. So, I mean, we've got some split decisions here. We've got OP is not an asshole at all. We've got OP's a 4. We've got OP's a 3. OP's 4, family 2, Dawn says. Lauren says, NTA, it's her birthday. Go buy a whole cake and put do not touch. Okay, so on your birthday, yes, it's obviously like you get the first slice. You've got dibs on whatever you want there. The day after your birthday, do those same rules apply? Where it is, hey, this bit is reserved. And if you wanted that to be reserved, is there any kind of obligation to clarify that with communication ahead of time? Is there an obligation on OP's part here to say, hey, please save me a piece of cake? Now, she did say, what did she say here? Do-ba-do-ba-do. 5 people, 50% of the cake was eaten on the actual birthday, and the rest was to be saved for a couple of days later when I allow myself a cheat again. So that tells me that she did communicate this. And if she did communicate it, then the family is much bigger assholes than I would have initially thought they were. Now, if she's saying this and like had just mentally set that part of the cake aside and didn't communicate that to anybody, that changes things, right? But it says it was to be set aside for a couple of days later when she could allow herself a cheat day again. So let's make the assumption here that she did communicate that. If that's the case, I'm saying OP is not the asshole at all because she communicated a boundary and they ignored it. And also it had to do with cake, which is an automatic like turbo booster for an issue in my book, at least. So OP, not the asshole, family for ignoring a predefined boundary and taking cake that was not supposed to be taken. Where does that put the family? Mom didn't eat any. Remember that. Christy, you think it's an unspoken rule that if there's cake left over, that it's for the birthday person? Mary Dugan, had a B-Day cookie one time for my nephews. My hubby cut a piece out of the center the night before. Why the middle? Like, it was. I mean, nothing makes that okay, but the middle makes it worse. Makes it worse. Mom is an enabler. She's guilty by association. She's probably, yeah, she made herself a bigger asshole by essentially minimizing OP's feelings about it. And it's obviously a big deal to OP. I mean, she wrote a post about it. And it's her friggin' birthday cake. You don't touch the cake, man. There are normal boundaries and there are cake boundaries, and cake boundaries are stronger. Sweeter, but stronger. All right, so OP, we're saying not an asshole at all here. I'm going to bring the scale back up because we do need to classify the family now. They definitely shouldn't have done it. I think that's safe. Are they in ascon 1 territory? I don't know. We've got, like, I know this is a cake, and you know my feelings on cake. I have very, very, very strong feelings about cake. Unnaturally so, some would say. And I even find myself surprised by how triggered I get about cake. But I don't know that this is an ascon 1 thing. They did ignore her boundaries, and they did ignore her boundaries on a birthday item. And it was particularly significant because of the self-imposed diet for the health issue here. So they did leave her a slice as she wanted, but it seems like it was a tiny slice. 1.75. Oh. Is it Tamaro? Is that how you say your name? Tamaro. Family or ascon 3 we've got. It's got to be 2. Wasn't me. Thank you for the hanging lights. Appreciate that. And Cocoa Puffs, thank you very much for sharing the live. I saw somebody else did that up here as well earlier. Thank you guys for sharing the live. Appreciate that. Erica, thank you for sharing the live. Okay, so, man. I just don't know if it was an ascon 1 worthy offense. It's cake, and that makes it so much worse. And I'm assuming she did clarify this boundary ahead of time. But something is preventing me from getting them all the way to ascon 1 here. Something. Maybe it's because they left her a piece. But they also minimized it and nobody apologized. You know what? Screw it. Not just for taking the cake when she pre-communicated that she was saving it for when she could eat it again, but for minimizing her feelings about it, for dismissing her feelings about it, and for nobody apologizing. We're taking them to ascon 1. There we have it. I wrestled with it for a second, but man, that's just what it is. It's not just the cake that did it. It's not just the cake. It's everything else that they did involving the cake. Christy, no hesitation at all. ascon 1. Don't take my cake. Do not touch the cake. As a reminder, we have the Protect the Cake shirts available at DustyThunderSwag.com. I will absolutely wear one for the first live that happens once I receive mine. I will absolutely be wearing it. Man. Chuck, you got your shirt and mug coming? Hey, I've got my mug here, and it actually looks really damn good. It's cool to see the astronaut with the scale planets there flying around. I'm actually using mine to hold some stickers at the moment. Look at that. Look at that. Would you just look at it? Green Eyes, you missed me last week. Well, hey, I'm glad you made it this time. Diversion, thank you so much for sharing the live. Candy, thank you so much for sharing the live as well. Stephanie, thank you for the cake. Appreciate that. Jared Leto. Really like the Moira voice. Oh, I'm sure it'll come out today. Britt and Random, thank you guys so much for sharing the live. Appreciate that. It is good to see you all here today. We are getting ready to start our second story here. Oh, what? Is this what involved a cake too? Okay. This one has birthday in the title, and I'm immediately like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. We're getting into another cake conversation here? No. Surely not. Surely a cake con scale. Ooh. This may have to happen. If this cake trend continues, it freaking absolutely might. Okay, this one is a follower submission, so OP, if you happen to be here in chat and want to raise your hand and let people know that this is your story, feel free to do that. You're under no obligation to do it, but people may have follow-up questions for you, and chat can be a useful resource for that. Let's dive into the second one here. It is, am I the astronaut for being disappointed with my birthday? Growing up, now 33 female, my parents always made sure to make a cake for my birthday. See, it said cake in the first line. No, it doesn't involve cake, Tony Spark says. Cake in this one? No. There it is. And although some years it was just socks and a book for my birthday, I felt loved and I cherished those memories. However, when I left at 18, that magic dissipated, and that's okay. I knew it was time for it too, in many ways. I met my husband in college. He was active duty military, stationed in the same area, and we met by sheer chance on a girls' night out with my bestie. With many typical military marriages, we have been through the ringer. Some major and scary moments, service injuries, missing all the holidays, long, lonely deployments. In our 10 years together, we have only spent 2 of my birthdays together, and that includes this year. Wow. Mental health struggles for both of us, financial struggles in our early years, and yes, he cheated. It's okay to roll your eyes. The stereotypes are darn accurate. And over the 10 years, he has never made a big deal about my birthday and usually results in a social media post or a day's late present because it hadn't arrived. And usually that present wasn't really a good fit for me, or it was some lacy number that really wasn't for me because it was for you to wear for him, right? I want to add, I've always gone above and beyond for all of my family, parents, brother, kids, and husband, to make them feel as loved and as special as possible on their birthday, just as I had the first 18 years of my life. In 2020, I had been dropping hints for over 5 years that I really would love to bring back some birthday magic for my 31st birthday, after no celebration since my 21st. And yes, I'm aware how dumb that is, but it had been a few really hard years, and I just wanted a bit of joy. Unfortunately, COVID hit in February of that year, and my birthday in March dream was gone. In 2021, year after years of a horrible and toxic marriage, I had enough. And after another break in trust, we separated, but ultimately reconciled after tons of therapy, ongoing. A month before my birthday, and once again, nothing really was done, planned, or anything for my birthday. My kids did make me a very cute card, though. 2022, I was out of the country for my birthday for work, and again, nada. This year, I dropped hints and even flat out told my husband and family it would be really nice to celebrate and maybe do something great just this year for my birthday. I was really excited the day before and went and spent a little money and got my eyelashes and eyebrows done and kind of went to bed like a kid on Christmas Eve, thinking this year it was going to be a great year. I woke up, my kids gave me hugs and kisses, so did my husband, and said happy birthday. He surprised me with that viral writing 2-choice challenge that had gone viral on the socials. The 2-choice challenge. I don't know what that is. The premise for those who don't know, thank you. The premise for those who don't know is you write 2 options each on a piece of paper, and you offer both up to the other person, and the other person chooses their piece of paper but doesn't know what it is until they turn it over and read it, and then you do or get what was written. I was so shocked. What a sweet gesture. First option, I got boba tea. Amazing. So I got dressed and went out. After boba, I got another option, and it said I could go buy an outfit from the department store. Again, awesome. So we went out, and this is where everything goes to shit. Literally, my husband gets the runs while in the store, and I spent the rest of my birthday dealing with whiny cranky, biting my head of Mr. Big Sick Mean Baby Butt. Oh, man. I have to read that line again because it's epic. Literally, my husband gets the runs while in the store, and I spent the rest of my birthday dealing with whiny, cranky, biting my head off, Mr. Big Sick Mean Baby Butt. Mr. Big Sick Mean Baby Butt. I got to keep that somehow. My kids were exhausting. I had to secure my own birthday dinner. Turns out no one, husband or my family, had made or purchased a cake. Presents, not really important. Made or bought a card, nothing. And I think my ungrateful butt even believes on a terrible dark level that my husband may have made the challenge up in a panic, realizing he didn't do anything for my birthday and trying to cover his butt. But either way, he made me feel absolutely horrible with his nasty attitude. By the end of the night, all I could do was cry silently to sleep and become resigned that maybe birthdays are just something of the distant past. The next day, I just didn't have it in me. I was quiet and kept conversation to a minimum and just focused on getting things done. One of my toxic traits is shutting down within myself and burying myself in work/tasks, and sometimes that can come off as being a bitch, as I don't talk and I'll just shut down. As a result, we fought because I wasn't my usual self, and ultimately I just caved in and said sorry. He did apologize for the way he spoke to me the day before, though, but I still just feel like crap. My mom says this is just a mom's lot in life, but am I being the asshole for being this disappointed when I'm adult and blessed with so much over something as silly as my 33rd birthday and honestly holding a bit of a grudge? There we have it. Chat, what do we say? What do we say? It's just leveling up around on rotations. Hoodie, thank you so much for sharing the live. Appreciate that. Jasmine, thank you so much. Kay Dwyer says, this story is sad. Nothing worse than being disappointed when your family doesn't celebrate you. Ta says, March birthday babies. We're sensitive. Eterna Phoenix, is this a troll submission? I hope not. I don't know. No way. No, because it's understandable. Like I get it. I get it. My mouth is on fire. It says, I plan stuff for myself. I don't wait for surprises. If you know that nobody's going to do anything for you, maybe that's the route to go. Maybe you just plan your own shit. Miley, thank you for sharing the live. Dolores, you as well. Eterna Phoenix, I'm starting to be at the age where cake does bad things to my body. Baby Core, thank you for the butterfly. Appreciate that. Sam, thank you for the rose. Love only for the cake. Britt, thank you for sharing the Britt and Bryce, thank you so much for sharing the live. Appreciate that. Nursey Dear, you as well. Damn birthdays. Damn. But I mean, you want to feel appreciated and loved, right? Brandy, what's a birthday? Okay. Quick poll out of the 1,163 people in chat or watching right now. How many of you, just give me a yes or no. So yes, you do celebrate your birthday every year and it's important, or no, it means jack shit and you don't do anything for it. Yes or no? Yes, you do celebrate it and it's important. No, you don't celebrate it and it doesn't mean shit to you. Yes, nope, yes, nope, yes, 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 no, 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 yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. I'm going to keep an eye on this for a second. This is really interesting. This is very, very interesting because there are a lot of no's there. Yes, 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 very important. Okay, for those of you who are saying no, is it your choice or is it because nobody else just does anything for it and you just stopped caring? So out of the no people, why? Is it your choice or not? Wow. Dang. Well, I feel very, very sad for you who don't. And okay, Regina says, after my 50th, I stopped caring. You know, it's maybe there's a point. Maybe there is a point when it's like not a big deal. And as an adult, it's obviously not as big of a deal as it is when you're a kid. But you can't help but feel for OP here because it is a big deal to her. Whether it needs to be or not, I think you decide. I think that's the lesson here is that, you decide when it's not a big deal anymore. And if it is a big deal to you, the people, your loved ones, need to recognize that and need to do something for you. So it's how you feel about it internally that probably sets the bar for how your loved ones need to react to it and need to treat you on it. Obviously, when you're a parent, especially of smaller children or teens, just a parent in general, your birthday takes a backseat and it's not as big of a deal then because obviously your kids are first, but there's even more reason to celebrate it then because you set an example for your kids. And also it's something that your kids enjoy doing. Man, so many responses here because it's not so many responses here are because no one else gives a shit. And that sucks bad. So if it is your birthday, when it is your birthday and we're doing a live or something like that, be sure you let us know so we can at least help celebrate with you. I don't think anybody should have a birthday who cares about their birthday and not have some kind of celebration for it. Hell, I mean, even if it's just us telling you happy birthday, it is something. But I think it's that day where your loved ones and the people within your circle are supposed to step up and at least show you that they see you and they recognize you, or they recognize, how big of a part of their lives you are and that they're celebrating you being here. You know what I mean? It is nice to feel loved sometimes. And I mean, Candy Thunder and I, if you have a spouse, I think it ultimately falls to your spouse for what you were going to do to celebrate your significant other there. I love to spoil her. That's my thing. I like to spoil her. So, I'll take any excuse to be able to do that. And obviously time constraint wise, there's not a ton that we can do now to, whisk away to some day long celebration thing, but we're going to do something and we're going to have a party and we're going to have some freaking cake, probably going to be dirt cake, and we're going to celebrate. And hell, I want to do that until I'm 100 years old. I want to be eating dirt cake for no damn reason though. So it doesn't have to be my birthday. But I think if it's a big deal to you, it needs to be a big deal to those who love you. And for the others, flip that. The reverse is also true. So if you know someone, if you have a loved one, or if you have a good friend, or if you have a family member, and or think that their birthday is a big deal to them, take it upon yourself to try to do something for it. Step up for them that day and show them that you care and you appreciate them. And for OP here, man, I don't think it's silly. I don't think it's silly to care. And again, you can't be an asshole for feeling something. You can be an asshole for how you act on it. But it's not like she bit anybody's head off about this. She didn't chew his ass for it. She just was discouraged and disappointed in it. And I think that it's okay to feel like that. The direct question is, am I the astronaut for being disappointed with my birthday? And I might need to add some kind of addendum onto this and be like, you can't be an asshole for feeling something, because she's not an asshole for feeling disappointed. That's okay. It's okay to be disappointed. What you do with that is what determines where you can become an asshole or not. But I don't think she did enough to become an asshole here at all. She's just disappointed and kind of shut down. And as far as reactions go, that's the least severe this could have been. I feel bad for her. And, the significant other is probably worse for dudes. We're probably worse about seeing that birthdays are a big deal for our significant others and stepping up and satisfying that what they are expecting or hoping will happen. Because I think everybody secretly, wakes up on their birthday and has that kid on Christmas Day kind of feeling, and then immediately just reminds themselves that they're an adult and it's not going to be like that anymore. And there's this little bit of sadness that drapes over us, but it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? You can make it special for someone. I don't make a big deal for my birthday, but but Candy Thunder does. And the kids do, and the family does, and the team here does, and it's first comment I see over when I looked at the chat screen was Kindle's. I don't know if my eyes just locked on to diarrhea automatically, but that's what I saw. It said, sorry, but if I had diarrhea on my husband's birthday, I'd still get him a cake somehow. Amen. That's. Oh, Kel makes an interesting point here. It says, Hubs is ascon 1, y'all. He cheated. Terrible person. I mean, it's a character reference in the story here, which does contribute to like a respect level. So we do have to take that into consideration here. But he knows it's a big deal for her, but he made some kind of effort. Was it a panicky effort? Was it enough? Or was what he did enough to move him off of ascon 1? Now we're talking about OP's husband. Was it enough because he tried to do something special? I mean, obviously he didn't choose to have the gut issues when he had them, but it happened. So is what he did enough to move him off of ascon 1 to ascon 2? Because he definitely shouldn't have not gotten her a cake. Definitely should have done more for her. Definitely should have done more to show her that he appreciates her. We've got 1. We've got 2. Nani, you make a good point there. Nani says if the cake eaters were ascon 1, then this guy should be that too. Oh, here's the difference though. Here's the difference. In the cake eater story, sounds weird to say it like that, but in the cake eater story, she communicated boundaries. Did OP here communicate that she expected and really, oh no, she did. She did communicate that. You're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you for steering me in the right direction. Here we go. Hubby's taking a trip for his birthday all the way to ascon 1. It's like Chuck E. Cheese, but with astronauts and assholes instead of giant mice and pizza. There are no games. No games at all. But quick funny story for you before we move on to the next thing. Susie, men are the worst when they're sick. The worst. I agree. We're big babies. We're big babies when we're sick. Real big. M down the stream, did he eat something knowing that it would cause a problem? Maybe. Hope not, but maybe. I mean, I would definitely steer clear if I knew that there was if there was a risk of it ruining my wife's birthday. I'm going to stay away. Play it safe. Play it safe. But Susie makes another good point here. If you want a good birthday, do it for yourself. And I think that's ultimately what this comes down to. If it is a big deal for you, then don't rely on other people to make that happen because you're bound to be disappointed or you're setting yourself up for disappointment here. Joanne, thank you for the lightning bolts. And Kimmy Cat, thank you for the roses. Appreciate that, guys. And Joanne for the superpower. Thank you. Thank you very much. Taking it into your own hands is the safest play. And I think if you pre-communicate that and say, hey, tomorrow's my birthday or next week's my birthday on Wednesday, whatever day it is, and I'm setting X amount of time aside to go do what I want. And that's kind of what I did this year. I mean, we still had a party and we still celebrated and we still did the things, but when I had this chunk of time where Candy Thunder had said, you take this day and you do whatever you want to do, I was like, bet. Okay. So pretty sure I gamed for a little bit and I went to the shooting range. I did all the stuff that I normally don't have time to do. It's like I chose the me time things to celebrate just on that one day. And her just giving me the time to do that was a huge deal. It was just as big of a deal as if we had like whisked away to Paris or something, right? It was a huge deal because it's stuff that I just don't normally get to do. So, quick funny story about Chuck E. Cheese. Kieran and Brady, Thunder kids, who are now like 12 and 13, going on 13 and 14. Holy crap, time just flies. Used to be absolutely mortified, like sheerly terrified of the mouse at Chuck E. Cheese. The robotic one that stands on stage that does like the... They were terrified of that because they thought it was going to come to life at some moment and chase them down. It was like stuff of nightmares. And then they were there. Candy Thunder was there for this. It was early on in our relationship together. They were there, and the employee that puts on the Chuck E. Cheese costume and comes out of the back for birthdays and stuff. So here they are staring at this robotic, demonic mouse on stage, just thinking it's going to come to life and chase them down, and they're already very apprehensive, like this. And then out from the back comes this MFer wearing this costume, and in their minds, that damn robot came to life and was coming after them now. So he starts coming out of the back and walking toward them. They scream bloody murder, run into the bathroom, but into like the wrong bathrooms. So it's like, I can't run into the women's restroom to get whichever kid ran into there. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. Sheer terror. About the same level of terror they expressed when chased by geese. That was a fun thing. They ran across a road to get away from geese. And Ava, who's the same age as Kieran, 13, oh no, she'll be 14 next week. Oh my gosh. Kieran and Brady took off running like across the street from these geese, and one caught up to Ava and bit her like right on the butt. Or maybe it was on the calf, but it got her. Sheer terror. I'm sorry. It was probably a had to be there thing, but the memory is just so vivid and so hilarious that I can't get rid of it, and I had to share. Geese are savage. Those guys can be hardcore. Emmy Lou, thank you so much for subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Pam K, you as well. Thank you for becoming a member of the Storm. I'm excited to welcome you guys to the VIP group. That's going to be fun. Stephanie, thank you so much for the cake. Holly Jill, thank you for the ice cream cone. Chrissy for the lightning bolts. Joanne, that superpower again. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. We just had a little tangent there. I'm sorry. Freaking Chuck E. Cheese geese. two nightmare fuel things for my kids. Chuck E. Cheese and geese. Seemingly harmless. Kayla Jones. Good to see you here. Okay. All right. We're going to dive into the next story here. This one is from the AITA subreddit. How's my pacing, Tony? Am I doing okay? Move on. I can't see you because of the monitor anymore. I asked him how my pacing was, and he did this. Move on. All right. The next story is from the AITA subreddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for threatening to call off our wedding because my fiancé is refusing to shave his beard for it? Beards might need just as much protection as cakes. We're going to see where this one goes. So I have been with my fiance for over 3 years. We have been engaged for one of those years. Our wedding is set for September 6th. My fiance has been growing a beard ever since like March or so. I haven't thought anything of it since I've seen him with a beard plenty of times before. I say since I've known him, it's been about 50-50 between him being clean shaven and him having a beard. Joanne, thank you for subscribing again. Sorry, I looked up and saw something blip at me. Something shiny caught my eye. Saw a squirrel. I jokingly brought up his beard and our wedding the other day. I said, "You ready to have a clean face for our wedding?" He looked at me and was silent for a few seconds. He finally said, I was going to leave my beard for the wedding. I gave him a pretty gross look and said, "No, you are not. That is not acceptable. I will not have that." I hope she did it with that smile, too. He got mad that I was telling him what to do and said I can't tell him what to do with his grooming preferences. Not until you're married. I said that I have that right since it's my wedding and I am marrying him. We kept going back and forth about it until I said I would cancel our wedding if he doesn't shave. He didn't budge. He ended up getting really mad by that comment and left shortly after. He's barely texted me since that happened. I've told my friends and family about the situation, and part of them agree with me, while some say that I had no right to tell him to do that and that I was being a jerk for doing so. Just to clarify, I don't hate his beard. It's fine. I think at times it can be attractive. I just don't really like the idea of him not being clean shaven on our wedding day. I feel as though the pictures will not be as classy and nice. So Reddit, am I the asshole in this situation? So it's not, it has nothing to do with anything but the pictures. Trent, you're right. We need that shirt. Protect the beards and cakes. Nikki, I like it. I like it. Get a beard trim and compromise. Laura, you missed the story. Here's the 30-second recap. OP and her fiance are getting married. He's had a beard about half the time that they've been together. Has a beard right now. She wants him to shave it for their wedding, and he said no. She's threatening to cancel the wedding. He still said no. And she wants to know if she's the asshole for threatening to cancel the wedding and for having this stance of telling him to shave it off. She only wants it. She doesn't mind the beard. She just thinks it'll look better in pictures. Use Photoshop. Let's hope they're not doing a video. I mean, it's possible, but it's not easy. Oh, man. I mean, look, I think once you're married, maybe that doesn't even make it okay. I don't know. I don't know, because I rely on Candy Thunder's input on a lot of things. And a lot of that has to do with not necessarily have a beard or don't have a beard, because she would tell you that I need to have a beard. And speaking of throwback stories, there was one time when I was trimming the beard and I trimmed a little too much and ended up just having to shave the whole thing off. This was a long time ago, but I ended up having to shave the whole thing off. And I walked out of the bathroom and she was sitting on the couch and I looked right at her and she saw my face, and I swear this woman looked at me and I saw the love disappear slowly from her eyes. It was just gone. Ashling, thank you so much for resubbing, staying to be a member of the storm. And she was just shocked. I get it. She did not love me, but it was just pure shock. And it was like, oh no, what did you do? So we both feel the same way about the beard, but I do lean on her input a lot for like, hey, do I need to trim the beard up? Or, what should I go for this event? Blah, 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 blah. I think asking is a little bit different than telling. So if he had asked for her input and she had given it, it would be a different deal. Her just demanding that he shave it off is specifically where the problem is here, I think. Scarlett says, I cried when my husband shaved his beard. I think a lot of ladies feel like that. Does he tell her how to cut her hair? Holly, I doubt it. It's the demanding part that is the problem here. Kendall says, Dusty, you love and respect your wife's input. The husband in this case probably does not. Or, if it had been demanded of me, I would feel different about it too. Even if I was planning on shaving my beard for an event, if it was demanded on me, I'd be like, no one commands my beard but me. You can ask it nicely. Cannot command it. And then threatening not to marry him. Yeah, Takamu, write that. Takamau. That's the issue. It's not just demanding that he get rid of it. It's threatening to not marry him. Like, if the quality of pictures is worth getting divorced over or not getting married over, chances are that marriage isn't going to last. Because your wedding pictures are not going to be the biggest thing you encounter in your marriage. Year one of marriage specifically is incredibly difficult because you're learning how to troubleshoot together. You're learning how to solve problems. You're learning how to live together. You're learning to do a lot of things together that you never had to do before. Wedding pictures are going to seem like peanuts compared to the problems that you're going to have. And if she's willing to not get married to him over something that is big to her right now, but in the grand scheme of things, not huge, then they're going to run into something even bigger and have an even bigger issue. So where is she? I guess that's the question. She's an asshole. Where is she? She could have done it differently. Sure. Should have done it differently. Absolutely. Definitely shouldn't have done that. Agreed. Is she a terrible human? Is she a terrible human for this? I guess the demanding is ascon 2. The threatening to not marrying him if he doesn't shave. When she doesn't even mind the beard, she just wants it for the pictures. That probably bumps her up to ascon 1. It's the demanding is 2. The threatening to not marry him is 1. She elevated herself up there. What is it today? We have like a parade of ascon 1s going on, man. You found some spicy assholes here, Tony. Good job. Tony found some spicy assholes. Good gravy. I think his response here, I respect, not budging. And although he didn't say this, it was his response said to me, look, if this is what our marriage is going to be like, fine, don't marry me. I'd rather know that now and have this implode than get married and get into something that's even bigger and have you threaten to divorce me over it. You know what I mean? Like if she was willing to put their marriage on the line about this and bet with it, then she's not taking it super seriously. Crash Cart Ronnie, thank you for the birthday cake. Appreciate that. Stephanie with the 61 bolts. Thank you so much. Joanne with the Gamer Cat. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Jen with the Rosa and Jen with the Rose. And Ashling just got her auto renewal subscription for the Storm. Heck yeah. Ray, thank you for the roses as well. Maybe I'm just being too harsh here. I mean, I'm doing like, is it the third ascon one? I might be being too harsh. Shayla, Quick Orange, Jen, thank you all for sharing the live. Or Jen actually purchased a 1-month subscription to be in the Storm. Welcome to the Storm. Welcome to the Storm. Holly, thank you so much for the TikTok. Appreciate that. Do we know the age? We don't. They don't have their ages on here. They say they've been together for 3 years. Stephanie becoming a member of the Storm as well. Welcome to the Storm. Welcome to the family. Chelsea, never caught a live before. Welcome. They're fun. This is a good time. It's fun because I get to interact with you. I mean, we do the normal asshole story reading, and I give feedback, but my feedback is fueled by your guys' input. Pop's becoming a member of the Storm as well. Thank you guys. Welcome. Our community is growing. We're up. I don't know where we're at right now. We're over 150 though. Got a good group. Emily Lou subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm for month 2. The Storm is our VIP group. So it is our paid subs on a TikTok Live, but we also have a VIP group on Facebook where we invite those members to come engage with us, and we use it almost like a little focus group. But they get first access to a lot of things. We ping a lot of ideas off of this group. It's a really cool group to be a part of. B. Farrell becoming a member of the Storm as well. Another member of the family. We growing. Like Dom. It's family. Hunter Girl. Candy is with us intermittently today. We've got a dog going to the vet for a random eye issue, so she's going to be kind of in and out, but said she would be jumping on just a little less than normal today, but she will be with us. Malone, yeah, I agree. It's the thing that tips her to ascon one is that she threatened to cancel the wedding because of pictures. I mean, this could have just as easily been like, you need to go tan, or I'm going to call off our wedding because I want it to look better in the pictures. That's probably easier to Photoshop, but it's the same thing. It's an aesthetic thing. Ugh. Rebecca, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that. Stephanie becoming a member of the Storm. Heck yeah. We do need more Candy Thunder, I know. Candy can stop at nothing but cakes while she's out. Wedding is about love, not hair. I mean, I get it. She wants it to look a certain way, and I know that, you know, there's this dream image of how you want those wedding pictures to look, but I don't know. Can't demand it, and you can't use your marriage as, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't use your marriage to bet against. Okay, before we move on to the next story here, a couple of quick announcements, just repeating from the beginning in case you did not catch these. We now have the stickers available. They're still for sale on dusty-thunder.com, but we have them in hand, and we finally got all of our mailing stuff out, so those will be mailed out soon if you have already ordered them. If you haven't yet, go do it because we'll be able to mail these out like in the next few days. Also, the Protect the Shirt. That's not what I meant to say. Protect the Cake shirts and tanks are now available, and they look like this. So there's that one, and then this is a different one, and we have a couple of tank tops of them too. Yes, we actually have a Protect the Cake shirt. It's a thing, and it is right there at DustyThunderSwag.com. So shirts, mugs, that kind of stuff are on DustyThunderSwag.com. The things that we make ourselves or design and order in ourselves to hand facilitate, like these sticker sheets, are at Dusty-Thunder.com. Also, The Candy Thunder podcast, her second round through the podcast, publishes this Sunday. So you guys said you want more Candy Thunder. She's coming to the podcast this Sunday. So I think we'll probably publish it around noon Central Time. But that will be on YouTube and all of the podcast channels, most commonly Spotify. So you'll be able to see and hear her and engage with her there. And also Thunder and Spark. I know you guys have heard something about it, but that is Candy Thunder and Tony Spark, and they're going to be doing a podcast together, and that's going to be soon. We don't know when that's going to film, but it will happen here soon. All right. We're going to dive into the next story here. I'm going to take a quick drinky drink. Wet my palate here. So just beachy, the Dusty Thunder swag site does ship to Canada. The Dusty Dash Thunder, the stickers, we don't have it set up to ship to Canada, but if you'll message us on there and let us know what your address is, we'll figure it out. And when do I normally go live? Normally it's on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Central, and we bumped it up an hour just to start at 3 p.m. Central. We did that last week because we had a kid thing in the evening, and it seemed to work out well, so we're just keeping it going for a little bit to see if it stays that way. Yeah, so it's not permanent yet. We're just testing to see if it continues to work better for everybody. If it does, we'll permanently move it. If not, we'll move it back. All right, diving into the next one here. This one is from the Dusty Thunder subreddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for asking my mother-in-law to replace the planter she threw at my daughter when she was mad? A planter? I mean, there are like those plastic planters that weigh nothing. And then there are like ceramic ones that weigh a lot. And then it can have dirt in it, could have a plant in it. I mean, this could be a... The severity of this projectile could vary widely. I guess that's where I'm going with it. I, female 48, have been married to my husband, male 50, for 25 years. We recently celebrated this anniversary with a cruise to Cozumel. My mother-in-law watched our two children, female 12, male 10, while we were gone. When we returned home, I noticed that one of my expensive planters was missing, and the plant was now in a plastic cup. When I realized this, I asked my daughter what had happened, and she told me that her grandmother got mad at her and her brother for arguing, and she picked the planter up and threw it at her, hitting her in the ankle, cutting her ankle, and breaking the planter. I spoke with my husband's nephew, who confirmed this story. Should have done this a second ago. They froze. They're like, we're scared to move. I'm sorry. There they go. I was very upset and angry about it, but when I spoke to my husband, he just made excuses for her and said it wasn't a big deal. Because it was his mom, right? He was probably just used to it. His mother has always been just awful to me. She's publicly said that he should have married someone else because our kids would be better at sports. I'm not good enough, etc. What the hell? So I wanted him to deal with it. He refused. I refused to let it go without saying anything. I mean, as if hitting my child wasn't bad enough, to break something and to just not say anything is beyond rude. What? I sent her a text saying that it was brought to my attention that she had thrown this planter at my daughter, and that was unacceptable, and I let her know that the plant died, and I sent her a link to where I bought the planter, telling her this is where she could get it replaced. It was still way kinder than I feel she deserved, but I'm just not a malicious person. I said person. Now the entire side of my husband's family is mad at me. I blocked them on all forms of communication. My husband is mad also and says that I overreacted. I have been nice to this woman for him and the kids for 25 years, but she has totally crossed the line, and I am so angry. This might be the last time I tolerate any of them, including my husband. Am I the asshole? Whoa. Yeah, that is a mama bear moment here. You don't throw shit at kids, period. Is this like the episode of Bluey where Nana, the grandma, they're trying to get Bluey to learn to crawl, and she said, I'll just sprinkle some grit down. And he's like, I don't think that's legal anymore. But I don't think it was ever okay to throw shit at your kids. Right? I don't think that was ever like a generally accepted parenting thing. When you get mad, just throw something at them. What do you got? Oh, planter. That's what's within reach. Yeah, that'll work. Just check it. It sounds like it was a smaller one, but that doesn't matter. You can freaking throw it. And then she broke it. Didn't say anything about, hey, there was this incident, which would have been the right thing to do if she had just bubbled over and done something she knows she shouldn't have done. It would have been a, hey, this thing happened. I'm so sorry. Like, I know I overreacted. I've already ordered the replacement. I've talked to her, the child that I hit with the projectile, and apologized and blah, blah, blah. But there was none of that at all. And the fact that husband here is just covering for her, number one, says that it's not out of character for her. Number two says that he just doesn't want to deal with it because he knows that she's not going to apologize and nothing's going to change there. So what are the possible courses of action here? I don't know what the rest of the family thinks that OP did here that was wrong by confronting her about it. Maybe they just all know how she is. And if they don't stand up for her, they're going to be on her shit list. And, you know, they don't want any planners coming at them. Maybe every time people are around her, they've got to be like, wear a baseball glove or something, you know, just be ready to catch whatever she throws at him. Maybe she's just that kind of person. But in Mama Bear's shoes here, you can't let that person watch your kids again, right? I mean, it happened on your anniversary cruise. I get it. 10 and 12-year-olds are tough, especially when they bicker at each other. You can't throw shit at them. And as a mama bear, she has every right to be here, to be like, you don't get to watch my kids anymore. I'm sorry. I can't trust you to not throw shit at them. And that's not how we do things here. That's not an acceptable method of governing here. But she's pissed at her husband too for not being willing to do anything about it, which I think is founded, but she's talking about this is the last time she tolerates any of them, including her husband. Him not treating it as a big deal probably says more about how he was brought up than how he really sees it about happening to his kids, but that doesn't make it okay. Hello, Daniel. Ta says she needs to not worry about the planner and worry about the kids. I would agree with that. I think when she confronted Grandma, she approached both issues here. I think she told her it was unacceptable and then said that she expected her to replace the planter. So it was like an additional punishment for doing something that was unacceptable. I don't know that it's as much about the planter as it is a punishment for doing something that's unacceptable. Okay, so Susie makes an important point here. She says, is she always like that, or is this something new? Because Alzheimer's patients do that. The fact that hubby here was not surprised at all by this behavior tells me this is just how she is. Candace R85, she threw a planter that had a plant in it. We don't know how big it was, but it was a planter. I mean, it doesn't matter what she throws if it's not like a foamy dodgeball or something, right? Country folks. Use Karma. Thank you so much for the TikToks. Appreciate that. Pops, thank you for the rose. Appreciate that. And for the star, Sammy Boy, husband's an ascon one. Gina says, I would never throw things at my grandchildren, but I absolutely used to throw flip-flops at my kids. That's not the first time I've heard that one, specifically with flip-flops. For whatever reason, was that like that was the thing of choice for parents everywhere? It was the 80s, man. There were no rules. It was the 80s. Yeah, this is not okay. And hubby is the big concern here because OP was justified for what she did. Probably should have ran it a little bit harder on this is unacceptable and you will never be alone with my kids again side of things to show Grandma how serious she was about it. But hubby being like, it's not a big deal, don't say anything, and then getting mad that she actually went and talked to Grandma is the bigger red flag here. And that's, you know, he prioritizes not pissing Grandma off over the safety of his kids. And maybe because he went through it, he has this frame of mind where he doesn't feel like they're really in danger because he got the same crap thrown at him. But it wasn't a flip-flop, it was a planter. that was not one of those little cheap plastic ones. She said it was an expensive one, so it was like a ceramic thing or a porcelain thing or something, and actually connected. It's a big deal. Needs to be a big deal to a parent. And dad not thinking it's a big deal is a big deal. Flip-flop or a slipper. Those are soft, right? I mean, it's still something that would be frowned upon nowadays. But I've heard a lot of those stories from the 80s. The flip-flops were like the 80s teachers and low-flying chalk erasers, and flip-flops for parents. Apparently that was the thing. Kodiak, high heels are boomerangs when thrown. Nice. Chris G, I think the Spring Shop does ship to the UK. I don't know that there's a way for me to find that out real quick, but here we go. Shipping. Yeah. The Spring Shop, which is DustyThunderSwag.com, it ships, it looks like pretty much everywhere in the world. The Dusty-Thunder.com stickers that we have, we aren't set up to be able to do that just yet. Hopefully we'll get it figured out. But the DustyThunderSwag.com, which is where all the shirts and mugs and stuff are, that'll ship anywhere. Anywhere. We can now finally get swag to you all over the world. Holly, we're still planning on doing that dirt cake video, Candy Thunder and I, which is great because it's an excuse for us to make dirt cake, which means it's an excuse for me to eat dirt cake. Sorry, I got distracted. Back to the story here. OP not the asshole for what she did with Grandma. Where's husband here? I think we know that Grandma's an ascon one, because not only did she do this and not only did she not speak up about it, but she, when confronted about it, went and got her troops riled up to say that OP was the asshole here, which is horse shittery. But hubby got mad at the wife as well. So Grandma got him riled up and probably went and bitched at him because his wife came and approached her. We got ones, we got twos. Let's bring up the scale just to make sure. He definitely shouldn't have done that. I think because this is his mom and he was brought up this way, he was conditioned to not think that this was as bad as it is. I think two's probably pretty accurate here. He needs to wake up to it, though. He was conditioned this way. I get it. But he's got to see that he's being controlled by his mother. And his mother is pitting him against his wife. And he's afraid to not do it because he might get something thrown at him. OP seems more worried about the planter with her words. Hubby didn't care and Grandma needs anger management. OP, yeah, because she said, let me go back to it here. She says she sent Grandma a text saying that it was brought to her attention that she had thrown this planter at her daughter and that was unacceptable. And she let her know that the plant died and sent her a link to where she bought the planter, telling her that she could replace it. And she said she did it to be way kinder than she feels she deserved, but she's just not a malicious person. Well, there's no malice here, so I don't think you could have been malicious no matter how hard you ran at it. I think she was trying to be delicate, knowing that Grandma's a little volatile. Which also begs the question, how did you end up appointing this person to watch your kids while you were on a cruise? Anyway, I don't think OP's the asshole here. I think she was trying to handle it delicately. Grandma got her troops riled up, and hubby happens to be one of those troops. That's a problem. Hubby, you're going to have to get off at Team Grandma here. Once you got married, your allegiance should be going a different direction. Conditional trauma or generational trauma, yeah. That's right. But when it causes an issue that pits you against your spouse, I think you have to be shaken out of it. You have to be. All right, let's go ahead and dive right into the next one here. This one is a follower submission. So again, OP, if you're here in the chat and you want to let us know that this is your story, feel free to. This is, am I the astronaut for being a little snotty to the bride's sister? It's a wedding one again. Mother-in-laws, weddings, and cakes. That's been our theme for like the past month. And apparently there's plenty of stories involving those three things individually, not all together. If all of those were brought into one, it would be epic. It would almost be too much. My husband and I's best friends finally chose a wedding date after being engaged for over 8 years. I was initially asked to be a bridesmaid. When the bride gave me my box asking me to be a bridesmaid, I cried. I love weddings and they make me super emotional. She slowly asked the other bridesmaids also, one being her sister. When she asked her sister in the same way she asked me with a bridesmaid box, her sister didn't even say congratulations for choosing a date. She immediately said, "Don't expect me to dance or say a speech," and went on about whatever she was doing. Her sister and I talked quite a bit, as I would have considered her a friend. Her sister contacted me on Snapchat, says she wouldn't dance or say a speech, and she hoped she'd ask me to be the maid of honor so she didn't have to be, which the bride did end up asking me to be the maid of honor. Since being asked, we made a day to go to bridal dress shopping with the bride. I told her to invite her sister. It was last minute, but it was hours before we were scheduled to go, so she had plenty of time to do whatever she needed to do. I lived close to the sister, but was at work and going straight to the bride's house to help her with her hair. She was feeling down that day and wanted to postpone dress shopping, so to cheer her up, we did her hair and makeup before going. Sister messaged me on Snap again asking when she could expect me. I said, expect me for what? She said to pick me up. I said I was already at the bride's house, come meet me here and we could drive together from her house. She took this as we were purposely trying to leave her out, which this was my idea to invite her anyways, but whatever you say, lady. She got pissed off at me and said, whatever, you guys have fun. So I'm annoyed that she just expected me to pick her up without even asking me if I could or anything. We set up a group chat on Facebook to have all bridesmaids included so the bride didn't have to send five of the same messages all the time. We said we needed to get together soon to that was a funny slip. We said we needed to get together soon to pick bridesmaid dresses, as the bridal salon is saying it takes a long time for dresses to come in, and the wedding is in October. This is in February. Sister said she needs at least a month's notice from now on if she's going to come to anything. Is she in that high a demand? So we worked around her schedule to book all of us girls at the bridal shop on the same day to choose our dresses so the bride can have a say. Fast forward 1 month to our appointment. We're picking out dresses we each like. They all didn't have to match. I chose about 6 to try on, everyone else as well. Sister chose 3. Sister hated all 3, put her clothes back on, and came out of her change room fully dressed again. I simply said, "What are you doing?" She said she didn't like any of the dresses she chose, so I told her go pick a few more to try on, as we all need to choose our dresses today. She said, "I'll just come back another day." I told her, "No, the bride wants us to choose today, go pick more." This apparently set her off, and she was instantly pissed at me for the way I talked to her. Okay, I could see if she thought I was being bossy or snobby, but after not talking to me for a month or so, I kept asking her if she's okay. She messaged me drunk, saying how much of a horrible person I am for speaking to her the way that I did. "It's not your wedding," she said to me, and called me a "see you next Tuesday" for telling her she had no choice to come back. That she had to choose her dress today because we've already waited a month to come because of her, and now she wants to come back by herself without everyone else, even the bride. Am I the asshole for putting my foot down for the bride so she didn't have to her own sister? Oi. This is little sister, right? This is little sister. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Let me go back. I gotta find it. Did she just say sister? One being her sister. She didn't say little sister or big sister. This is very childish. That's what I was thinking, Kendall. I was thinking, this is sabotage. Sister is sabotaging this, and if she wants to come back on her own, it's because she wants to pick something out that she knows her sister, a.k.a. the bride-to-be, is going to veto. And she wants to do that just to cause a stink at the wedding. She is sabotaging every single step of this along the way. But why? Because she can't handle someone else getting the spotlight, because she can't handle her sister getting married before her. Any number of things, it doesn't really matter. That's an asshole move. Trying to sabotage someone's wedding and just not... That's little sister behavior. It makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, it could have been a big sister too, who's even more pissed about it because the little sister is getting married first. So I guess it could be either way around. But to be this difficult at every single turn seems like a little sister move. In this scenario, Not saying that's indicative of how my little sister behaved. I love my little sister. Love my little sister. Oh, Adele says, my older sister did this to me. Well, that sucks. Favored kid behavior. There you go. Thank you. Maybe not even that, though. It's just, whichever one is just salty about the other person getting the spotlight or getting married first and choosing to just wreck it on purpose because they wanted to. That's shitey. Don't do that. Shitty. Don't do it. Kick her out of the wedding party? Yeah. Yeah, that would be a damn good idea because she's going to sabotage everything on the day of. Pictures? Reception? Ceremony? Oh, God. She doesn't even have a dress yet. At this point, cut your losses. Get her out of the wedding. Then, what? All these problems just magically float away. She can... she's going to pitch a fit about that. She's going to pitch a fit about having to go to the wedding and sit in the pew with everyone else and probably not show up or show up 30 minutes late or some bullshit. But uninviting her would be a really good idea. You're uninvited. Slip the sister a Xanax and tell her to chill, Angela. That's not a bad plan. That's not a bad plan. The wedding cake? Oh, no, Misty. No! But you're right. You're right. The wedding cake is at risk here. Cut her ass out. Okay. Not just cut her ass out, but uninvite her from the wedding, period. Because Misty's right. She could put the cake at risk. And we can't have that. We can't have that. Hey, Christy, who asked, is the live going to be on the podcast too? We've started pushing out, I think last week was the only time that I've tried doing this, but the audio from today actually pushed out on the podcast channels, sent it out to Spotify, and it was an experiment just to see how it went. And I'm curious if people actually enjoyed it or if because of all this in-between interaction, if it made it not really work for the podcast channels. But if you guys like it, we'll keep doing it. If it's weird because of all the in-between interactions, then we'll just stick to our normal story compilations. Jarby says, does the groom have a beard? She may try to attack that too. Oh my God. It just keeps getting worse. Again, green eyes. Oh, please don't give her a microphone. She's like, I know I told my sister not to expect me to say anything, but I have a couple of things that I just have to say. Brad, I'm just giving the groom the name Brad for the story. You could do so much better. You remember that one time that we made out? Me too. That's what little sister, or I say little sister, that's what problem sister is going to do at the wedding. And then she's going to smash the cake. Then she's going to go over to the groom who has a beard. She's going to grab the beard. She's going to yank part of it off and then like set the tablecloth on fire. All hell's going to break loose. You can't allow this to happen. You're going to need security there. You're going to have to uninvite her from the wedding and bring security in on this. But what you save on the dress that you would have had to buy from her, for her, you can now hire security with. So it all works out. Now I got my microphone all screwed up here because sister was all drapey on it. She's going to be drunk when this happens too. She's just going to be like, just wanted to say some things. I didn't mean to do that much damage to the mic here. Apparently did though. That happened. Are we stable? Are we stable? People just walking around slamming doors over here. I don't know what's going on. Security! That was security who just walked in. They just came through the door. Oh no, Rose. Says if there's a wishing well, she might take all the envelopes full of money. You know what? This would be a hilarious scene in a movie, actually. If you had a sister who was just that hell-bent on destroying everything. Just have her do everything possible to just destroy it. Yes, we are on Apple Podcast. And actually, if you use Linktree, which is linked in every bio on every social channel that we have, all the podcast channels will be on there. I just happen to have this pulled up right now so I can show you right quick. Look at that. We got the Protect the Cake shirt design right top and center there. But if you go to the podcast section here, that will split this out, and there's the Apple Podcast button right there. I hope that still works. Since we changed the name of the podcast and we ported it over a different direction, I hope all the links still work. If you find a broken link in there, let me know and we'll get it fixed. All right. Okay. So the question here was, am I the astronaut for putting my foot down for the bride so she didn't have to her own sister? Abso-freaking-lutely not. I think we've established that. I think little sister has to go. She's got to go. And sister, yeah, we can put sister on the scale here and we can send her straight to ascon 1 because she's sabotaging the small stuff right now. The big stuff's coming. You got to keep her away from it. This is like, it's like having a toddler's birthday party around a fire pit. It's just a bad idea. Just remove the threat. Can't mess with the cake. Can't mess with the wedding. Can't mess with nothing here. She's a threat to all of it. All right, let's jump to the next one here. Nursing tear. I don't know where it came from. Toddler's birthday party around a fire pit. This is a bad idea. Bad idea. It was the most dangerous thing I could think of at the moment. You could tell I have dad mode brain. Okay, this one is from the AITA subreddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for being angry with my friend on vacation? I, 27 female, and a friend, 24 female, have kids the same age, too. We recently did a girls' beach trip. I left my child at home with my husband for the first time, and in consequence, for the first time in 2 years, was child-free. My husband does what he can regarding our kid and does a lot, but has gone a lot for work, so I've never been apart from my kid for more than a few hours before someone says I have a husband issue. Ugh. That isn't the issue here. Okay, I see. Before someone says I have a husband issue, that isn't an issue here. My friend brought her child, which no one in the group had a problem with at all, except my friend has a habit of letting, or rather forcing, others to watch/parent her kid. That sucks. Every time we hang out, she kind of checks out, goes on her phone, or wanders off and sort of dumps her kid on the friend group. Well, on this beach trip overnight, she did just that to me. Now remember, this is the first time in a long time I've been kid-free, or at least my kid-free, and here she is dumping her kid on me. Her kid is asking me to play with them, walk with them, kid stuff, and I just want a break. But here my friend is, playing on her phone, just totally checked out. I tried to redirect her kid back to her, saying, oh, you should ask your mom to play. That'd be great. To which she says, without missing a beat, nah, you have more patience for my kids anyway. You play with them. My blood effing boiled, and I explained to her that I left my kid at home because I wanted to be kid-free for the night and not babysit hers. She rolled her eyes, and I just lost it and told her, stop being lazy and watch your own kid. Of course, she was pissed, but the rest of the group had my back. But my friend was so angry I can't help but feel like I'm in the wrong. Am I the asshole? Hell no. No. You handled this really, really well, actually. I'm impressed. I don't know how long this lasted before you finally snapped, but you did the right thing. Because not most people, but the pushover person in this situation would have just done it. And I feel bad for the kid, right? Because the kid just wants somebody to play with, but that's not your responsibility. You have this one break. You have this one time. As Chili Healer said, I just need 20 minutes where no one speaks to me and no one asks me anything. This was your 20 minutes and you needed it. And it was at risk because this gal. The whole like just getting sucked into your phone thing instead of having time with your kids. I think it's dangerous for everybody. And I intentionally have to like put mine away and not check email, not check messages, not do anything, just put it away during those times when I'm just focused on, like playtime. And it can't be all the time, obviously. I mean, you still have to check in on things, but if it's just scroll cruising, then what's the right choice? What's the thing that's going to bring you the most joy? And for this mom, I seriously doubt that scrolling through her phone is going to bring her as much joy as playing with her kid could. But why not do what OP did and find someone to watch the kid so that everyone could enjoy it? She just brings her kid knowing that she's going to be able to pawn him off on someone else. And that sucks. That makes her a shitty person. That makes her an asshole. OP, not an asshole at all here for creating a boundary and reinforcing it. Well done for that. Where's phone mom here? Toon got Misha, thank you so much for the voice compliment. I appreciate that. Quacka, you finally got your first live? Heck yeah. Welcome. Lots of ascon ones today? Yeah. Tony Spark did a great job of finding us some really big assholes. Phone mom, ascon 1, ascon 2. Well, we got some 2s here. We've got some 2s. Oh, Daryl showing up with the I didn't know she knew my ex-wife line. For the friend, ascon 2, ascon 1, ascon 2, ascon 1, ascon 2. Some RBAs. Hey, Ryan's up in the house. Ryan is my stepbrother here. Stepbrother? Brother-in-law. Stepbrother, Jesus. Do we just become best friends? I think so. Brother-in-law, Ryan. Give him some lightning bolts there. We have yet to see Candy Thunder pop up here, but she's got her hands full. We know that. That mom needed a break too. She got mad because she was called out. Yeah, but it is I guess it's the general practice of bringing your kid along to something where there aren't going to be any kids, knowing that you're going to pawn your kid off to someone else. What does that make them? Depends on the friend's intention. If it's on purpose, ascon 1. I could see that. Quack is subscribing and becoming a member of the storm. Heck yeah. I think I actually missed a couple of others here too. Jarby became a member of the storm. Thank you so much. Rebecca became a member of the storm. Heck yes. Glad to see you all joining up there. Uh-oh, we got Josh sending us videos here. Oh, Gemma, thank you so much. Candy Thunder has, she gets really worried about the pets. They're her babies. As you know, as well as all the other babies. So, Klaus, I Googled RBA trying to find the definition here. You're going to have to clue me in. What, I should know this. What is RBA? Solid number 2. Author Stacey Reynolds. Solid number 2. Definitely shouldn't have done it. You're a terrible human. ascon 1 is she a terrible human for this? You know, okay, Kimmy says even her own kids, she doesn't have patience. No. Okay, so that wasn't her kid that said that, Kimmy. That was the other mom. The other mom said, you have more patience with my kid than I do, so you play with them. Melanie, thank you so much for the chef's kiss. Appreciate that. I think it's safely a 2. Could be a 1. But I think we're safe in saying 2 here. She definitely shouldn't have done it. Phone mom definitely shouldn't have done that. Especially, she was able to see and probably had already heard that OP didn't bring her kids so that she could have some alone time. If this is a friend group, I guarantee you OP talked in the friend group about having this be the first chunk of alone time that she's had. And how long? How long was it? 2 years. 2 years. First time that she's had more than a couple of hours. That's a big deal. She knew. That puts her at a 2. She may be to 1, but I'm safely saying 2 here. Chris G says phone mom always does this though, so ascon 1. That's possible. If she's been confronted about it before, here's the kicker. If she had been confronted about it before and people had created a boundary and then she kept doing it, I'd say yes, 1 for sure. We don't know that though. We know that she's done it before. We don't know that people have created a boundary that she stepped over. If she had done that, she would be a 1. I think that's the kicker there. Maybe I'm being too nice with it, but I think that's it. It's now if she does it again because a boundary has been drawn and she's been called out on it, then she's a 1. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and dive into the next one here. We ready? We ready to dive in? Do we need some music to liven the room up? Oh yeah, Candy Thunder and the dogs. The dogs are her babies, and the babies are her babies, and the team here at Storm are the babies. My throat just made a weird noise. I'm sorry. I know you heard it. We'll pretend like you didn't. We'll move on. The next story here is from the Dusty Thunder subreddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for moving and not saying a word to my parents? Commonly known as running away. Except, background, I-34 female, not running away. Early last year, separated from my ex-husband. We are currently going through divorce proceedings. It was amicable, and we are still friends and co-parent as best as we can to our son, 8 months. Oh, crap. Or 8 years male. After the separation, I met my current boyfriend, who I've now been with for almost 9 months. The separation and divorce hit my parents, my mom especially, hard since they are extremely religious and believe divorce is wrong. Since it happened, my mom, who I was previously very close with, and I haven't really spoken much at all unless it is in regards to my son. They still have been taking my son to and from school, since they live right down the street, so that I do not have to pay for a before or after school program for him, since his dad moved 3 hours away and can't help in that regard. My dad still talks to me a little when I go pick up my son from their house, but my mom doesn't really speak to me unless it's about my son or to share things from the Bible with me that reminded her of me. We went from eating dinner and playing games at their house every Friday night to barely speaking to or acknowledging one another. This has hurt me tremendously. I've broken down crying many times over it, and my boyfriend has offered several times to take my son to school and pick him up so I don't have to deal with my parents at all. I didn't initially take him up on this offer because I don't want to deprive my parents of seeing my son, and I also hoped things would get better. If anything, they've gotten worse. My parents are currently on vacation for a full month, and right before it started, my mom and I got into an argument via text, which she started by referring to my boyfriend as my friend and then spewing things dealing with their religion. My boyfriend has yet to even meet my parents, as they have expressed zero interest the whole time we've been together, and he, understandably, is not in a hurry to meet them either, just from the impression he's gotten of them. In her text, she didn't ask me how I was or how things had been with me, nothing, which was pretty hurtful. My boyfriend has been taking my son to and from school while they've been gone. Since his lease is up in April and I need to sell my ex's and I house anyway, we have decided to move in together. We got approved for a place way across town from my parents and are moving in at the end of the month. My boyfriend will continue to take my son to and from school even after my parents get back from vacation in May. I haven't said a word to my parents about any of it and don't plan on giving them my new address anytime soon. I'm starting to feel like a bit of an asshole for not giving them a heads up, and part of me is worried that I am just making the situation worse. I know that when they find about me moving and my son not coming over much anymore, that they will be upset. So, am I the asshole? This one's difficult. This one's complicated. It sucks. Sucks bad. Michelle Westenberg, thank you so much for subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Melissa and Diana, thank you so much for sharing the live. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hate to say it, but ascon 3, Caroline's saying. Yeah, this is okay. This is tough. Let's bring up the scale. We need to recap a little bit here. Parents are definitely in the wrong here for not being understanding. And I think it comes down to this. Like, I understand the religious structures against divorce, and I understand some people clinging to those awfully tight. But the question comes down to this. If they care about the 8-year-old son, would they rather have him be happy with 2 happy parents in 2 separate houses? Or would they rather have him be miserable in a single home with 2 miserable parents? And I think if you ask them that question, they would say they want him to be happy. It's just that rigid structure of divorce that they have an issue with biblically. I think they want what's best for their grandson. They just don't realize what that is yet. I don't know that OP can be the one to show them what that is yet. I don't think OP can be the one to change their views on that. Their views on that are probably not going to change, but they are going to understand that it's going to cost them. It's going to cost them a relationship because it's making them shun their daughter, and they can't expect to have a relationship with their grandchild and shun their daughter at the same time. It doesn't work like that. This is the result. So while OP could have done this differently, and maybe should have done it differently, I don't disagree with what she did. Because she's being shunned. Like what happens when you get shunned? You get pushed away. This daughter feels abandoned by her parents. Exactly, Kendall. And asks, do the parents still have a relationship with the ex-husband? We don't know. They don't talk about that here, but I doubt it because he moved 3 hours away. Michael becoming a member of the Storm. Heck yeah, welcome. Mom doesn't get to see my kids if she treats me like shit. That's what I'm saying. And we see a lot of that here with mother-in-laws specifically. So this is a little bit different because it's bio mom, right? That's treating her own daughter like shit because she's shunning her based on a religious law that was broken. And I think if she thought about it in the terms of, do I want my grandchild to be happy? That grandchild is going to be happier in a happy home or two separate happy homes rather than one miserable home. But it's the structure that she can't get away from. But it's making her mistreat her own daughter, and she can't expect to have a relationship with a grandchild if she does that. So where OP could have done it differently is communicating ahead of time, creating boundaries instead of just doing it. That could have been done differently. I don't know if it's a should have, or maybe it is a should have. Is it a could have, or is it a should have? Should OP have communicated these boundaries ahead of time so that mother knew if she continued to violate those boundaries that it would lead to a break in the relationship? Or is what she did not communicating it here okay? You're right, Nursey. I mean, not saying the boundary would have worked, but creating it and communicating it is the first step of that. You don't know. You can't just assume that it's not going to work. I guess with some people you can, but I don't think you should. I think you have to at least try and say, hey, here's where this road is headed. If you continue to treat me like this, then I'm going to move away. You're not going to be able to spend as much time with your grandchild. Is that where you want this to go? Or do you want to rethink how you're treating me right now? Having that conversation with parents, I know would be tough. I know that would be a very difficult conversation, but that would make what happened here 100% acceptable. No questions asked, no doubts. Like, she's having some doubts right now because she says at the very end, I know that when they find out about me moving and my son not coming over that much anymore, they will be upset. So am I the asshole? She says she's starting to feel like a bit of the asshole for not giving them a heads up, and that part of me is worried that I'm just making the situation worse. For them, sure, they're going to be mad. They're going to be upset. At this point, you either just have to accept that they're going to be upset or explain to them that the boundary that they should have known existed was crossed several times, and this is the natural result of it. What do you expect? What do you expect when you push me away, except for me to go away? I don't think it's irrecoverable. And you could still have a relationship with them if you show them the boundary that they violated here and show them how to fix it. Not that they're going to do it, but you can at least show them the path for it. So I don't know. I'm thinking OP here is on 4 because it's not a should have done it differently. It's could have. She could have taken a different path and pre-communicated this here, but she didn't have to. It would have been better if she did. But it's not irrecoverable. I'm saying 4. And I don't think she's an asshole, right? That's just where she is on the scale for this because it could have been done differently. She could have pre-communicated this. She could have had that difficult conversation. And if she had done that, the parents would know more clearly that they were in the wrong and that they caused this to happen. And because of that, it leads to a better chance of this whole thing coming full circle and there actually being a solution. And that's really what the scale's set up for. It's, what leads to the best possible solution path. Not saying that she's the asshole. I'm saying there was a different way that could have been taken here. And that different way could have made a solution more viable. They're going to be upset. And I mean, it's either you choose that you just like, okay, they're upset. Well, I've been upset for a long time because I've been treated like shit. Well, this is what happened. So, yeah, it's either nothing or 4. Pick your poison there. I'm not saying that she wouldn't have moved either way. Chris, yeah, I know we don't. Well, here's the deal. If she had communicated these boundaries in here, I think OP would have said, I have expressed XYZ, but I'm still being treated this way. If she communicated those boundaries ahead of time and then told them that she was going to leave if they continued doing this, or told them that it was going to lead to a relationship that was broken and that they wouldn't get to see their grandson more often, I think she would have said it. But if she did say that and then they continued down this path, then she's not an asshole at all. And there's no could have done it different. But she didn't say any of that in the story. And all we have to go on in any of these stories is what's in the story. So this don't look at ascon 4 as me attacking OP here. I'm simply using the scale to say this is where they are as a level here. I don't think she's an asshole for doing it. I don't think that she did the wrong thing. If she wants there to be a solution and wants to have someday a healthy relationship with her parents again, then this could have been approached a little bit differently. That's it. That's it. It's not an attack on anyone. And I view it as my job here to try to find the solution paths. And right now, there could be one. There could be one there. All right, we're going to go to the next one here. My God, you are noisy today, boy. Thumping around. What is the deal? Father Curtis is in the office and just like thumping around like a friggin' elephant. He didn't notice the bright lights and the camera and me standing up talking to the mic, didn't notice any of that. Just going around like a normal day, swinging a sledgehammer around, throwing planters at people. Next thing I know, he's going to be throwing cakes around, attacking them. Chris, Allie, good to see you there. Hey, Father Curtis, chat wants to see you. You need to pop over here and say hi.
Are we reading a story? I don't really want to read a story. My beard is not nearly as good as his. Hello, everybody. Blue Easter.
Get out of here. You're going to break shit.
No, I don't want
to. You're going to break shit. Get out of here, man. You're going to treat my gear like you treat those doors. You're slamming them around, man. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. Wonder if there's a beard cake. Probably. I bet they could do it. Might include a lot of fondant. I don't think it would taste very good. It'd also be really weird, just psychologically, to eat a beard cake. Wouldn't it? All right. We're going to jump into the next story here. Whoa, I'm just clicking stuff like crazy now. All right. This is our last story of the day, too. So we'll make it a good one. We'll try our darndest. This one is from the AITA subreddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for making my girlfriend pay for our date? Oh, no, dude. I'm male 26, dating Evelyn, female 23. We have been together for 3 months. We've known each other for 5 months in total. We used to go out a lot together. Neither of us has kids or someone to look after, so we're free. So after work, we're free. We don't have kids, so we're free. It's pretty accurate. I have a better job than her. She makes a bit above minimum wage. After the first few dates in which we shared the bill, I started paying for dinner and entertainment when we go out. I don't mind it, really. I know she struggles with money sometimes. However, this week, my brother asked me to lend him some money because his car broke down and he gets paid monthly. He will give me the money back when he gets paid. As I get paid every 2 weeks, I had some extra money, so I lent it to him. I'm doing good on money until I get paid again. However, now I don't have lots of money to spend on dates for now. My girlfriend knows about this. My girlfriend invited me to see a movie and then have dinner. I paid for the movie tickets and snacks. After the movie, my girlfriend picked a restaurant and we had dinner there. When the bill came, I asked her to pay because I had already spent my money on the movie. I didn't have enough to pay for dinner too. She did, but she was upset. When we got into my car, she asked what happened and why I couldn't pay. I told her about my brother's car again, and she said that she had forgotten about it. Then said, I know she struggles with money and I shouldn't have let her pick an expensive restaurant if I wanted her to pay. I dropped her at her house and she hasn't been answering my texts since. I know that her money budget is tight. Maybe I should have told her before the fact to not blindside her. Am I the asshole? Ooh. Seems like a complicated dating structure. Okay, so there's a few different ways to look at. Hey, Candy Thunder's in the house, everybody. Let's throw Candy Thunder some lightning bolts. She is here. She's like, I heard that Father Curtis got on camera, and I had to come to chat immediately and try to find out what in the hell was going on here. It's been a wild ride. Tony, did you message her and like, you need to get in chat now? Damage control.
She asked how it was going. I just replied chaos.
She messaged Tony and asked how it was going, and he responded chaos. Oh my goodness. Holly Jill, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Polar Bear Gaming, you as well. Thank you for the lightning bolts. Nikki with the 80 lightning bolts. Thank you so much. Oh man. She's been sent here for damage control. Ms. Abinick, thank you so much for the roses. I appreciate that. Eric for the lightning bolts. Chelsea, thank you so much for the rose. Nani for the lightning bolts. I'm doing some catch up here. Kat, Monica, Lynn, Eric, Kat, Lynn again, and Muckle Buff. Thank you so much, guys. Kat with the auto renewal subscription. Thank you so much, Michael and Jill. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for all the love. We appreciate that. Okay, now back to this story. Okay, somebody mentioned this. Lizzie, there is a common structure in at least what I'm used to, where if whoever invites takes on the responsibility of paying. That may be the old school way of doing things, but it's my understanding that whoever extends the invitation offers to pay. Does that work in a dating structure? Helen, yeah. Of course I'm still in love. I see her name pop up in chat. I'm like, she's here to save me. She's here to save all of us. In dating, is that the case? If whoever extends the invitation takes on the responsibility of paying? She was used to him paying for everything, but she extended the invitation this time. Does that change anything? Quacka says, NTA, because it seems like she's using him as an expensive place thinking he's paying. Yeah, I thought that too whenever, it's like she thought the expensive place was okay whenever he was paying, but whenever she had to pay, it wasn't okay. Kat says 100% applies, but he should have maybe said something before the date. Yeah, giving a heads up ahead of time would have been a good idea, because that could have been a big embarrassment to both of them. And if he didn't have enough to pay and she didn't have enough to pay, what are you going to do? Caroline says, I think the girlfriend is ascon 3, especially after she said, you shouldn't have let me pick somewhere so expensive. Emmy Lou says, I just end up always paying. Nursey, I don't think so. Jarby says, she didn't forget about the brother. She just wanted what she wanted. Chuck says, I have a hard time letting the person I'm dating pay for things, even when they ask to go out. I'm the same way. But if you know you're not going to be able to, and okay, so maybe this isn't everyone sucks here, because if the standard practice had been for him to pay, at least they had gotten into that frequency, and then this time he wasn't going to be able to. She knew about the loan to his brother, didn't know that that was affecting his ability to pay for this date. So he probably should have communicated that before going to dinner, knowing that he wasn't going to be able to pay, which wouldn't have been a hard thing to say. It wouldn't have been a hard thing to be like, are you sure you want to go there? Because I can't afford to pay for dinner since I got this and I just gave my brother this loan. So dinner's on you. You sure you still want to go there? But she... What should she have done differently here? Just not just assumed that he was going to pay? Or she shouldn't have been the one to ask if she had no intention of helping pay at least? Bell says when you know someone's hard on cash, you should give them notice. That way they can budget it. Agreed. It's poor communication two ways here. Amy Lou says, I think 50-50, but I spoil my partner and cat. The and cat is what gets it there. And cat. Chris G, he said she knew he didn't have a lot of money and still invited him. LT says, I don't think we can assume. Yes, that's what should have happened. I don't think we can assume. Yes, that's what should have happened. Dinner was going to be at Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck says, miscommunication on all parts. Kat says, we all know what assuming does. Indeed. Presents us with a story like this one. I think it's an everyone sucks here. Because she knew about the loan. She didn't know specifically that he wasn't going to be paying that time. And he had gotten her into the habit of him paying. So he should have clarified ahead of time, especially when she picked the expensive place and said, hey, just as a reminder, and it could have been embarrassing for both of them. And if I had put myself in that position, I wouldn't want that embarrassment of getting a bill that I couldn't pay. So I would have done it to, halfway selfishly to save myself the embarrassment. But I think it's also the right thing to do to clarify there. Candy Thunder says, I want to spoil our cat, but she won't accept my love. She doesn't like treats or toys. She's not a normal cat. She was a street cat that just adopted us and showed up with half an ear and the tip of her tail missing. And she's like, yo, I'm going to live here now. And we're like, okay. That's pretty much how that went. Angel, thanks so much for the lightning bolts. Appreciate that. Marissa, but I always bring money for myself if we go out, if I'm invited, just in case. That's a damn good idea. Obviously, that wasn't an option for them because they're both struggling with it. And maybe that's the bigger issue here. Maybe, if things are tight for both of you, find things to do that don't require eating up all of your funds. And if quality time together involves going out and spending a lot of money, then you might be in trouble. Gutter cats. Cats adopt people. You're right. Cats are like teenagers and toddlers. It's got to be their idea. She's ghosting him till he can pay again. Ooh, Lizzie, you might be right. And if that's the case, that's shitty. The shitty scale would tilt in her direction a little bit. Holly says, my cat has expensive tastes. Is that T Swift in that profile picture? Holly, are you T Swift? Just kidding. New relationship means many learning curves. Misty, you make a really good point. She's the ascon for ignoring him after the first hiccup. Yeah, I still, putting myself in his position, would have wanted to communicate it. Maybe there was some embarrassment where he didn't want to be like, hey, as a reminder, I'm broke. I get that. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is just on her. I'm honestly not sure here because I feel like he should have clarified because it was potentially dangerous for both of them. But, that's an embarrassing topic. But probably more so here, if they're both broke, find things to do that don't take money. Like hell, you can make dinner together. You can go to the park. You can do a lot of things that aren't going to be money suckers and are probably better for quality time and relationship building anyway. So still think it's an everyone sucks here. Everybody sucks. Candy Thunder, still talking about the cat. The cat, whose name is Aria, we named her that because she's a badass and scrappy. She will go up to Luna, our golden doodle, And it looks like she's giving her a massage because you'll climb up on her and start kneading the dog with her paws. It's like she's trying to prepare her bed. And, you know, as a golden doodle, she's fluffy. And you can tell that it kind of bothers Luna, but she's afraid to speak up and say anything to the cat because she's like this. She's like, and we'll just stare as this is happening and then slowly just, fine, and just go back to her laying position and be like, whatever, dude, I'm getting used to it. It looks like she's giving her a massage, though. It's hilarious. No way. The real rebel has cats that are Sansa and Stark. That's excellent. Our animals are weird. All of them are weird. And Melissa's cats think her legs are trees. Oh no. They had to reschedule Oliver's vet thing because they had an emergency and had to reschedule. And of course it's like a farm vet, so they've got like every breed of animal possible. The cheaper options can be more romantic sometimes, LT says. I agreed, and that's where I'm going with this, is that this is the first real like problem they've encountered, and how they deal with this problem will define a lot for their relationship. But they can learn from this and say, hey, you know, the problem we keep running into is because we're spending too much money by trying to go out. Well, if we can find a way to do that and to spend quality time together and enhance our relationship, get to know each other better, and actually move this thing forward without spending a shit ton of money, that would be great. What are the options? And there are plenty of them. But I know it's standard practice. I know it's the normal thing to go out and do the movie and the fancy dinner and whatever, but it doesn't have to be that way. And you work with what you got. You work with what you got. Crystal, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. We're new girl fans. Kira says, personally, if a guy tells me he's paying for everything, I tell him I want McDonald's. Didn't he say he knew he couldn't pay for dates? She had said that she forgot about the brother thing, so she knew about his loan to the brother. I think that's as far as it got. Let me go back and look. However, now I don't have lots of money to spend on dates for now. My girlfriend knows about this. And it's because of the loan. So, yeah. So she knew that he had given a loan and he didn't have, you know, as much laying around as he normally would for their dates. And she still invited him and she chose the restaurant. So there's one way of thinking here that says the old school way, whoever invites pays, and she should have assumed all responsibility at that point. Her being upset doesn't make sense. I don't think she can't be really 100% blindsided because she knew the conditions that led here, but reminding her would have been helpful and maybe led to choosing a different place. I think everybody could have done something different here, so it's probably an ascon 4 across the board. Lori asking if she was testing him. Maybe, but if that's the case, then she's a bigger asshole because that's a shitty way to test someone. If she knew and she didn't care, and if she's just using him to buy meals, then that sucks too. No. Okay, I'm going to say everyone sucks here, and we'll put everyone at a 4. If I can get it to go back to 4. 4. Come on, 4. No? Yes? No? No? This has been Technical Difficulty Day. There we go. Not a very long flight to ascon 4 because it could have been done differently. But now you know, and now if you work through this, you're gonna be stronger in your relationship for it. This is just part of the process. So that is our last story for the day. Thank you guys so much for being here. As a reminder, stickers are here at dusty-thunder.com, and we have the Protect the Cake and Dusty Thunder logo and Asconaut shirt and Ascon Scale shirt at dustythunderswag.com. That site ships internationally. So for all of you outside of the U.S., you can definitely go shop there. The Candy Thunder podcast will publish this Sunday, which is going to be epic. We're filming part 2 of that sometime soon, and it will come out the Sunday after. So we are releasing these in 2 separate drops for part 1 and part 2. But you guys will get your your monthly candy dose there. Get your dose of candy. Always leave them hungry, Dusty. There you go. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you being here. We will outro with some music here. Maybe have Father Curtis come over and bang stuff around and dance. Giving him shit. Giving Father Curtis shit here for being crazy loud. I thought the Smash Room was open. All right, you guys have a great night. Thanks for being here.